name's Tyler. This is my little house. I've been in it 3 years, just coming up 3 years now, because I bought it at the start of COVID. It's a 99 Ford Transit, a 5-speed manual, petrol. I wanted a long van, a longer van, but I didn't get one. So I built this, and then this has actually turned out quite well, because I've sat at many a beach on the east coast of Australia and looked at the ocean and drawn art on my little table, because I'm an artist. You know, storage is a must, right? You cram as much as you can in there. So, like, I'll stay a little table, I'll set that up, and then I've got canvases and stuff in here and jigsaws. I went through a divorce and a liquidation with my business and everything, which I guess some people can relate to, or a lot of people can relate to. They just don't put it in the news or to make it public. And then I think from there, I just went, you know what, I need to reassess how I'm living my life, maybe take approach at this differently, especially when you're bankrupt, because that like puts a lot of, have a lot of anchors around your feet, so to say. I learned to live really simply, lived in tents and lived in the bush and all the rest of it. And then when COVID hit, I was in New Zealand, living in the mountains over there. And I was like, all right, options, what do we do? Got to be smart about this. So I came back to Australia and bought the van and was like, what am I going to do? Come back, get a job? There's no work. What am I going to do? Come back, rent a house? How do you rent a house when you don't have a job? Like, who wants to rent a house anyway? So the van was the obvious choice. No permits or anything like that. Just turn up, and I think the unexpected randomness of it is what works. People walk past and they don't expect it, and they're like, wow. Kids, like, if you watch parents keep walking and then all their kids stop, and then you watch them turn around about 100 meters and they're like, and there's like a little horde of children and they're all asking questions about the art and everything. Like, I've had some pretty funny kid conversations. And then modern age, you can tap and buy, so you don't necessarily need money. But yeah, no, I sell a lot of art at the beach. This is like the kitchen. So I don't know, people say don't put gas inside the car, but I've never blown up. There's no rollers or anything, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a box that slides in and out. But I mean, you got cooking, pots and pans, general stuff, like basic stuff. You don't have ovens. I've learned how to do roasts actually in a fire pan and a wok and real low heat. It's my little lounge room. Yes, spent many hours in my little shed. Oh yeah, the shed, yeah. So it's got like, I wanted that rustic vibe, like it was like a cabin in the woods kind of thing, made out of, old, all recycled timber and rusty corrugated iron and everything. So that's the vibe I've gone for. All the timber, everything I've pretty much picked up, off the side of the road or at scrap heaps, or, but they've all been everything's been individually cut as I put it in, and then I've pulled it out and recut it and stained it, and that's just plywood. I reckon one of the biggest benefits you've got from living in a van, if you can do it, because it's not all like, yay, all the time, is freedom to travel and move around. But you have to have that kind of life where you can do that. You've got to let go of all your wants. You got to readjust your mindset for it. Like, you can't go, I want this, and then go and buy that, and then need a house to keep it in. Like, I'd love an art studio, but I've got one, I guess. So do I want an art studio? I do. Do I need an art studio? No, I don't. Loads of benefits: travel, seeing, meeting people. It's not like you hang out with people all the time. It's not like you don't have that big, like, massive social life. That doesn't happen. But then on your travels, you randomly will meet people from all over the world traveling and doing the same thing. You kind of like, your vibe attracts your tribe. Every van's best friend. A must. Try brushing it out. Like, this is painful. This is simple. I love it. Well, I've got a canvas that I'm doing. So there's always one canvas in here. The others are in the back when they're done. That one's called the Poo Poo Pole. And so it's seagulls pulling on the car, and that came about from a conversation over summer with a dad and his little girl who would have been, I don't know, 4, and she was trying to explain to me about the naughty birds that pooed on grandma's car. And I was like, what? And she's like, you know, the birds that sit on the poo-poo pole and then points at the pole, the light pole. And I was like, oh, I get it. Anyway, so inspiration found, boom. That's the canvas. Challenges in van life. Solitude. You have to embrace that. I guess that's a challenge. You have to, you've got to be really comfortable in your own space, I think. Breakdowns, but then I haven't really had any breakdowns. I had one breakdown, which I was out near the 12 Apostles in Victoria, and I was in the middle of nowhere, and it was my own stupid fault. That was an inconvenience. It was just an expensive inconvenience because of where I was. I can't really think of many things that are challenging besides breaking down in the middle of nowhere and being on your own all the time. But then that brings so many good things on the flip side. Storage, I found this was a godsend. I found that in a dumpster up in Noosa out the front of a 5-star hotel that we had an art exhibit. I was part of an art exhibition up there, and then we had drank a few beers and everything. I woke up in the morning and my van was full of crap out of this dumpster, and this I was like, that's a bit crazy. But this, I was like, where can I put it? And that seemed to be the spot. And now this is just where crap goes, because in your van there's always crap. There's just like, you just have things. And this is where they go, and it's amazing. It's like I don't have things everywhere else now. This is it. The bed is all built in. Shoes, books, all my art supplies. There's art stuff everywhere. These are all my Posca pens. Because I paint with Posca, is my predominant go-to medium for art. So there's more Poscas down there, and there's a bunch of art books up there, and toiletries, the fan for when it's stinking hot because I don't have air conditioning or anything like that. I bought the van for $9.5 grand because I did the fit out on a budget as well, like so with recycled timber and everything. That didn't cost me anything. Screws are like, you know, $5. That's not that big a deal. I think the fridge was like $400, the battery was $400, the little box thing, not the inverter was like $90, the little whatever it is that the power all goes into. People will be watching this and go, you're an idiot, but like that box, that was like 250. So I mean, what are we at there? Like maybe 12 grand, 13 grand, I guess. Some people spend like 100 grand on their van. Yeah, I don't know, that if you've got 100 grand to spend on a van, that's awesome, I guess. Fridge is just got beer in it. It's not like, you know, we'll check out all this healthy food I'm eating. Just pretty much holds beer. But it doesn't always have just beer in it. You know, it does have food in there sometimes. So yeah, just because I mean, like, it's not like you're carrying. It's not like you're at home and you have like a pantry that has like all your food and then a fridge with all your condiments and everything like that. Because it's van, you know, you live in a van, so it's like super simplistic. You know, you'll go and you'll do a shop that will last, you know, a few days, and you cook, and then you know, that's what you're kind of eating. I've got a 240 watt, $20 recycled house solar panel on the roof. It's $20. So that's sweet. There's a little inverter up there. I guess it's an inverter. I had a board here with switches on it at one stage, and a light in the roof, but then it just all became, it was too I don't know, just too hard. So because like everything comes with you know, with the plug nowadays, or USB, so you don't need all that, I don't think, anyway. So just under there's a little box, and it's just got the, you know, that's my fan. So if I need my fan, I'll unplug this, and that charges my computer. Every day is like a bit of a different adventure. So I guess for yourself, you've got to have that in you. You've got to be comfortable not being, you know, comfortable, so to say. Like you got to be happy with living outside pretty much 24/7. You know, and you've got, yeah. So I mean, they are all things that you learn about. You can either do it or you can't. Like I'm sure there's people that go out there and buy vans and have like this awesome idea, and then after a month go like, dude, this sucks. I read on forums, right, and everyone's like, oh, where do you free camp and how do you free camp? And they're like, you know, don't you get in trouble? All right, so here we go. 900 plus days, 1,000 days in the van, in this van. I've been fined twice. Both times were in Gold Coast. Stay away from Gold Coast. They have to be able to prove that you're sleeping in your van. That's the catch. They can bang on your van. If you don't answer, if they can't prove that you're in your van, they can't fine you. But if they can, because up there I was sleeping with my doors open and everything, so it was pretty obvious that I was in the van. I got done twice there. I think park, besides Queensland, I think park in plain sight. Like I park at the beach, you know, and sleep at the beach most of the time. 80% of the time that I've done from the bottom of Australia to the top of Australia and back and everywhere in between, 999 times I've got away with it. Got away with it. Like, just park wherever you are. You know what I mean? Don't worry about all the hype, and don't read signs. No fucking signs. There's so many signs of telling you what you can't do in your life. Don't just ignore all that shit and go and just do you. That's my advice for van life. I think we should touch on that one. The frame was the first thing I built, like the frame across for the bed, so that goes right. You know, originally I had a massive like double bed in it, but then I don't need a double bed because it's just me. And then you need storage, you know. So then that went, and then this mattress went in, and then I boxed it in, and then started building the shelving going up, and then, you know, it extends and added. It was sort of built on the road, so it's been added to. Yeah, same thing. Like this is a 20 bucks, right? That's all I need. Like it's at this end, so if I'm drawing, you know, like at night time or something, if I'm drawing, I have light on here, but then if I'm up there watching a DVD or something, it's quite dull up that end, and then I can reach over with my foot, turn it off. Like real simple. Everything's simplified. It's not one of those white vans with all the everything you can imagine. It's not an apartment. It's a shack. Just be good. Don't be a dick. Focus on you. Be good for you. You know, like if you're good for you, then that will project out onto the people that you meet. And not everyone that you meet is good to themselves. So, you know, you're not responsible for that or them. You're only responsible for you. So, I mean, just be the best that you can be. And that's, you know, that's all you can do, right? Like, don't buy into the media. Don't do that. And it's not like conspiracies and all that kind of stuff. We're not going down that track. Just don't pollute your brain with that, you know. And I think that's one of the freedoms of being in a van, is that you sort of disconnect from everything in that sense, you know, to a massive degree compared to others. And that's amazing. That's good for your soul. The social media shout out. So, Surf Art by Tyler. I know when you put it all together, it says Surf Art. I've heard that like so many times, but whatever makes you remember it, right? So, yeah, Surf Art by Tyler is my tag, I guess. So that's on Instagram or social media. I now have a website, so that's surfartbytyler.com.
Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please share it with a friend. Also, if you want to watch more alternative dwellings, we got a playlist popping up right here, and we release new episodes every single Sunday, so consider subscribing.